But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know if it was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1,
self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest. Into the digital darkness. Well, good evening, and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. Well, maybe X, I don't know. X is acting weird these days. I don't know what's going on. They broke the algorithm. Anyway, we're also broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. What's up, guys? I see you in the chat. Hope everybody's well tonight. Well, I was kind of going through the archives and just, wondering what we haven't really talked about. And we've touched everything. It's been 7 good years, coming up on 8 here, of just all manner of wild ideas. And considering what the hell's going on with it. Now, one thing that kind of dawned on me when I was looking at this is that we hadn't really touched a lot on, what would you call it? The mimic or the doppelganger, or this concept of us being afraid of things that, well, they aren't real. We're told they're phony. They're, but we've got this sort of ancient mechanism built within us that's that uncanny valley idea. Okay. So I thought, why not? That sounds good. That sounds fun. Shout out Bruno, says X is up. Thank you. Appreciate that. I didn't know it was. Apparently X is up. Okay, here we go. Starts like this. So you felt it before. You know exactly what I'm talking about, even if you've never had the words for it. You're watching a movie and a digital character appears on screen. Millions of dollars spent rendering every pore, every eyelash, every subtle shift of expression. And something in your stomach turns. Your skin prickles. You want to look away and you can't explain why. The character looks human. It should look human. But something is wrong. Something your body recognizes before your mind can catch up. Or maybe it happened while you were scrolling through your phone. You phone scrollers out there. A face in your feed stopped you cold. Beautiful. Symmetrical. Perfect, really. Too perfect. And that feeling crept in. That wrongness. You looked closer and realized it was AI generated. But here's the thing. You knew before you knew. Something in you flagged it before your conscious mind worked out what was off about the eyes or the hair or the way the light hit the skin. We call this the uncanny valley. Scientists have studied it for decades, and I've got some studies in the description linked down below if you want to look into that. It's fascinating stuff. They tell us it's a glitch, an evolutionary quirk, some old software in our brains misfiring at modern stimuli. They say maybe it helped our ancestors avoid corpses, or detect disease, or identify bad genetic matches. They tell us it's nothing, a curiosity, something to be engineered around as our technology improves, this uncanny valley effect. But tonight, of course, I want to ask a different question because I am Michael Strange and I'm a weird guy. What if the scientists have it backwards? What if this isn't a glitch at all? What if this is a warning system, finely tuned over countless generations, calibrated with terrifying precision to detect something specific? Something that hunted our ancestors by wearing human faces that weren't quite right. Every culture on this planet, and I mean every single one, has stories about things that look human but aren't. The Fae of European folklore, who could almost pass but got the small details wrong. The skinwalkers of Navajo tradition, whose eyes don't track right, whose movements are just slightly off. The doppelgangers of Germanic legend with their hollow gazes. The shape-shifting yokai, I think is how you say it, Y-O-K-A-I, yokai of Japan, detectable only through subtle wrongness in their expressions. Cultures that never contacted each other. Civilizations separated by oceans and centuries. All telling the same story. All passing down the same warnings. All describing the same detection methods. Coincidence? Maybe. Many things are coincidental. Mass hallucination? It's happened. Continues to happen. Or survival information encoded in story form because that was how knowledge survived before writing. Here's the part that keeps me up at night when I think about these weird ideas. The detection parameters of the uncanny valley are incredibly specific. We unconsciously track these micro movements in our eyes, those imperceptible human movements. And when we don't see it, of course, we freak out. Our body starts to go into that fight or flight. We get the heebie-jeebies, whatever you want to call it. And these aren't vague impressions. These are precise instruments built within us, measuring specific failure modes of human mimicry. Why? That becomes the wild idea and the question on my mind tonight. Evolution obviously doesn't build detection systems this sophisticated for threats that don't exist. This is the boogeyman, right? We're talking about the actual boogeyman here, sort of. So what were our ancestors detecting? What hunted them by looking human? What was common enough across every human population to hardwire this alarm into every brain that exists today? And here's the question that really unsettles me and should unsettle the rest of us. Where did it go, this entity? Did it go extinct? Did we drive it off somehow? Or did it simply get better at passing? Did it evolve past our detection threshold and slip into invisibility while we convinced ourselves the alarm was meaningless? And right now in this moment in history, that alarm is ringing louder than it has in millennia. Deepfakes, AI-generated faces, virtual humans, language models that sometimes feel wrong in ways we can't articulate. The warning system our ancestors built is firing constantly, and we're telling ourselves to ignore it. We're telling ourselves it's a glitch. We're actively trying to engineer past it to make synthetic humans convincing enough that the alarm finally stops. What if that's exactly what it wants us to do? And that's the question tonight. As you know me, I'm a weird guy, and all the disclaimers do apply. This is just ideas. This is just looking at folklore and mythology in different ways and trying to consider the things we've missed. And some of this, of course, may seem obvious, but some of this is way past that Twilight Zone effect. So no truth to be had here, just ideas. If you're here for truth, you're definitely in the wrong place. I love to say that because it is a fact. And that's that. That puts us about where we need to be. And so the idea simply is, do you think this is an old detection mechanism built into us for a very particular reason? To detect almost human entities that were a threat? Or nah? Be right back. More Troubled Minds in exactly 1 minute after a quick word from our sponsor. In this case, it will be, who is this going to be? This will be, let's find out. Feeling stressed, overwhelmed? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get swept away by our emotions. Take a breath and find your inner strength with the Stoic Minute.
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.
The ancient Stoic philosophers understood that we can't control everything in life, but we can control how we react.
The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts.
Focus on what you can influence. Cultivate a positive mindset and let go of what you can't change. Find your inner strength. Live each day with courage, wisdom, justice, and moderation. Embrace the Stoic virtues and find peace within. The Stoic Minute, brought to you by Jack in Oregon. And welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? Now, that's the whole point. The whole point is to look at this a little differently and kind of open up the folklore conversation to some things that we really haven't touched on a lot on this show. And that's going to be, of course, doppelgangers. That's going to be the skinwalkers, shape-changing entities, okay, that maybe, just maybe, don't completely conform to the human space, to the human ideal. And we have this maybe ancient detection system within us that can recognize it when the shapeshift doesn't quite take hold entirely, right? Melting skin a little bit, some eyes that don't blink. You know what I mean? Some weird stuff going on that is of course called this uncanny valley. Lots of good reading in the chat, or not the chat, the link's going to be in the description down there on doppelgangers, skinwalkers, all kinds of stuff, mimics, and the uncanny valley, of course. And we'll talk about this as we go, because there's tons of incredible science that they've done on this, because we can't really explain why. Again, it seems like it's a glitch. We're told it's nothing to worry about. It's just a weird thing that humans do. I don't know. Wait a minute here, because there's a lot of things that have been built into us over millions of years of evolution, right? If we're going to go with the scientific method here and the scientific ideas, that maybe, just maybe, there's some reasons for these, and maybe some very good reasons. And how spooky does it get? Love to hear your thoughts on this. We are taking your calls tonight, as we always do, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Now I can turn off these AI eyes. Were you getting the uncanny valley effect, anybody? Because I had the AI eyes on. Now they're off. Okay, let's go to James. James in Michigan, Salcedo Paranormal. What's up, brother? Thanks for popping in here and being part of this, as usual. And you are the man. What's on your mind tonight? And what do you know about mimics and the uncanny valley and doppelgangers and everything else?
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me all right.
Loud and clear. You sound great.
Good. Yeah, I can tell you that if all the reports I find online from people that have anomalous experiences are accurate, even if just some of them are, these mimics or doppelgangers, whatever you want to call them, these shape-shifting beings that look almost human, they haven't really gone away. There's modern reports of that. And in some cases, I do wonder when there's more of people will hear or see people they know in their own home moving around but not interacting. I do wonder if that's more of a time anomaly than an actual mimic. But there are cases where people think they see a parent or a sibling or whatever in their home that they're staying in, or the spouse or whatever, and they'll see them, and this figure will turn and look at the person. And sometimes there'll be a blank, kind of emotionless look. Other times it'll be a more mischievous, kind of sinister or knowing kind of smile. And then they'll go away, and then the person will try to find them again, and they'll be gone. So this is all stuff that still apparently may possibly be happening today.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tales about this too. Like I said, if you look at, as usual, through folklore and history and all the rest, there's many cultures that tell of these things, whatever these things are. And it could be, again, back to the paranormal aspect of this. It could be, that latent energy I'm always talking about, or spirits. What, again, as usual, what do you believe in? That becomes really the question here, not James specifically, but as a group, like, what do you believe specifically? And is it the kind of spirits kind of coming into the house? Is it somebody trying to get your attention? Is it again, maybe these entities that the Navajo believed in the skinwalker, the shape changing sort of witch doctor-esque entity. And again, the doppelganger, of course, that is supposedly a non-corporeal being, which is a spirit. So I don't know. It's complicated, isn't it? When you start to look at all the different aspects of what these things could be the world over, and everybody's telling tales of them forever, as they always have, right?
Yeah, it's really complicated because of the reactions and the way they appear or disappear. A lot of times it seems like they don't really do much except for that, and a lot of times they don't even talk. The cases where they talk seem to be more rare overall. And but I have found a few of those. I even found one where this person moved away from their town, and they got a call from their parents saying that a friend of theirs, had told them that they had a conversation with this person that was not in the area when they met them in a store. And they were talking about their life like they were normal, everything was normal, and it wasn't this person. This person was like clear across, state or the country or whatever it was. So really, this whole thing is very complicated. I don't think there's any simple answers to it, as usual.
As usual, and that's the point of these conversations. And I don't know, one of my favorite theories here, and not just because it's sort of in vogue and everybody's talking about it with Skinwalker Ranch, but that idea of a shaman who somehow, some way is able to mimic things, change themselves, sort of at least, let's call it this too, not necessarily a shapeshifter. What if they could sort of maybe hack your mind's eye and make you see something that is not there, meaning that they are their own personage, they look like themselves, but they sort of hacked you, like brain hacked you through some sort of, Jedi mind trick, for lack of a better term, because who knows what this is called. And you see yourself because they're seeing you, and then, right, they're sort of transmitting you into your mind's eye, and you see yourself, but it's not you at all, because, yeah, and maybe there's a disconnect there in terms of the wobble of a psychic connection or a psychic block or whatever this might be. I don't know. So a lot of ways to look at this, and you don't have to believe in any of this to kind of consider ideas and kind of have fun kicking the cosmic soccer ball around, as I like to call it. But I do wonder if it's something more of a Jedi mind trick and less sort of a shapeshifter aspect of things. That would make a ton more sense to me, that somebody was able to kind of figure this out and cast this sort of maybe like a curse or some sort of spell on somebody else as an illusion. Can I say it properly? As an illusionist from Dungeons and Dragons might, something to that degree. I see you on the phone, Sora. Hang tight. We will get to you. Sorry to keep you waiting. Go ahead, James. What else you got?
Yeah, I do think telepathic contact is a good possibility. I believe that's how I had my first experience. And I won't go into it because it's too long, but just to say that I was born legally blind, but I saw an apparition clear across a room, and I'm extremely nearsighted, and I shouldn't have been able to see the amount of detail that I saw in this apparition. So I do think that telepathic mind-to-mind contact is always a possibility.
Yeah, it certainly plays, especially in the old ways when that's basically what they're trying to do, that shamanic journey. We were trying to sort of merge minds in this bizarre way, and maybe the old ways do play. Maybe they discovered some tricks of meditation or some of the other things we've talked about, maybe sensory deprivation, or who knows how this sort of thing might persist in 2026. But it wouldn't surprise me if somebody had cracked this code a long time ago and maybe even squirreled away these secrets in some sort of secret society. I guess we could maybe put that into the mix here as well as part of the conversation. We got Sora on the phone. Anything you want to add? I want to get to Sora real quick just to make sure we can fix the phone line if it's broken. But final thought for the moment, and then we'll get back to you after the bottom of the hour.
Yeah, I just think there's always many possible explanations. I think everything as and. It can be this and it can be that, and so on.
Indeed, very well said. And I agree. That's sort of the mindset when you look at these things. You got to be, flexible. I think flexible is a good way to put that. We're taking your calls tonight. What I'm calling this, we forgot what the warning means. they almost look human. And of course, that means doppelgangers. That means mimics. That means these skinwalkers, maybe. Whatever's out there, as whether you believe it or not. It certainly plays in the mind's eye. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. What do you know about this? See if we can fix this phone line. Let's go to Sora on the Discord. Sora, test 1, 2. Are you there? Can you hear me? Test 1, 2.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. We got you. I can hear you. You can hear me?
Hey, this is Jay. I wasn't sure. The phone was cutting in and out. I wasn't sure if it's the connection or can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you well. Can you hear him now, James? I just clicked it over.
Yes.
Okay, good. We can hear you. Go right ahead, Jay. Sorry to keep you waiting. I thought you were, it says Sora on the thing, so my bad. Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Just reaching out. I just wanted to say congrats on I think you said your 8th year. I feel honored to be a part of the show and just see it growing. And again, I know you don't feel yourself as regarding like not Bob Lazar. What was Art Bell? And I feel like your show is like the remix of what it used to be. You know, like truth and things that aren't spoken of a lot. But regarding some of the topic, I guess I'll try to make it quick. I don't know how much time I have with you, but just some experiences, like you said, shape-shifting. There's actually a book I have on psychology regarding shapeshifters, case studies, medical case studies, which are interesting. Just how, I guess, the journey, like you said, of individuals and whatever you want to call it, trials and tribulations, and how people go through things and they evolve kind of differently than, you know, like the native aspect of shapeshifting. And in regards to this too, I was going to say in my journey, I've met a lot of interesting people in my life. I'm still on a path, but in regards to meeting you guys and stuff like that, I feel like you guys inspire me to be more creative, and hopefully I inspire you guys to get, I guess, more footwork in life, to get out there more versus like the digital world. And one of the guests I recommend that you should have on, this is a trip. I swear to God, this is a true story. Everything I tell you guys is personal experience. So whether you guys believe it or not, you know, I'm not offended, but one of them was Sierra Weaver. You should get her on your show. And this is kind of crazy. One of my recent near-death experiences I told you was skydiving, which was like 2 or 3 years ago now. Kind of just been questioning everything I've been through. Why this? Why that? Why do I like this? Whatever. And what was the trip was about 9 years ago now, more or less, because we're in 2026. I worked on this project, and again, it's not like I planned it or anything, but it was a good project. It was with a talented individual named Nicholas Cazada, and he had a group of artists like you guys, and I was lucky to be a part of it. I just met this guy, again, randomness. It wasn't like something I knew somebody. So anyways, on this project, it was kind of crazy. I met this female named Sierra Weaver. She's really talented, whatever. She lives out here in Arizona. And this is what's crazy. Like, we were on the project together, right? And next thing you know, she's like, yeah, my dad's Travis Walton. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I'm the daughter. And it was just a trip, like how our paths crossed, right? And I told you some of like, you know, some of the recent things that have happened in my life. And I'm just kind of always wondering why, you know, just like meeting you guys, why do these things happen throughout my pathway or whatever you want to call it? And I recently talked to her a while back, but she's doing great and stuff like that. But she has a lot of interesting stories too. And like I told you before, the other gentleman I spoke to a while back was Rocky Elmore, the guy that wrote Out on Foot on the Border Patrol. And me and him have a lot of similar stories, like paranormal stuff, you know? And it's just a trip life, like I said before, you know? And then in regards to some of that, like, again, crossing the border, I swear this is a true story, my personal experience, is, I guess, anthropology or whatever. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. You know, I don't have certifications, but I do have these experiences. And I met a lot of beautiful, you know, women, Sonora. I've always dated foreign girls. I don't know why. And I've also dated a couple beautiful European girls, stuff like that in the past. And a lot of these people that I've been involved with, some of the experiences I've had with them, one time in Sonora, I met this girl. It was at an expo. They had a big event in Mexico. And
Hey, Jay.
friend, it was...
Hang tight.
Yeah.
We are out of time. I'm going to hold you over past the break. I want to hear the story, okay? Stay right there. More coming up. We got Jay in Arizona on the phone and your calls as well. Thanks for being patient, my man. I'll get you in just a second. Stay on the phone. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. More with Jay in Arizona. More with James and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. We're talking mimics tonight. Skinwalkers and all the rest. See you on the other side of the break.
You're tuning into Troubled Minds, the show where mystery knows no bounds. Stay tuned for revelations that'll keep you questioning the fabric of reality.
He carved our codes into the ceiling, then slept beneath their quiet gaze. They stared back, calm as painted saints, till all our candles burned away. We traced their hands, each line a river. We said they're just old marked up stone, but every night their faces shifted a little closer to our own. We forgot what the warning means. We just kept living in the in-between. They almost look human when the dawn cuts clean. We forgot what the warning means. We laugh like children at the old machine. They almost look human when they start to dream. The elders named them after weather, storm and thaw and hollow rain. Said never feed them names or questions, or they will answer just the same. Now in the hush before the sunrise, I hear them practice how to pray, mouthing words they stole from bedtime, trying on our yesterday. We forgot what the warning means. We just kept living in the in-between. They almost look human when the dawn cuts clean.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're talking mimics. We're talking doppelgangers. We're talking skinwalkers. We're talking the uncanny valley. And why exactly do we feel this bizarre terror when we see something that is almost human? That's what's on my mind tonight. Love to hear your theories on this. And again, you know, we can get weird here and just kind of kick out some wild thoughts and wild ideas. Everything doesn't have to be grounded in reality and science. Hey, let's embrace hyper reality and just talk amongst ourselves, shall we? Love to hear your thoughts on this. We got Jay in Arizona on the phone. Going to go straight back to him. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Thanks for being patient, my man. You are back on Troubled Minds. You were about to tell us a story of an individual that you knew or know. Go right ahead, sir. Welcome back.
Thank you again, and hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Yeah, like I said before, just a couple quick stories. Back when I was crossing the border often, I kind of lived out there part-time, and I remember going to this in Mexico. They have it every year. It's the Sonoran Expo, and it's a really cool event in the city. everybody goes. And I remember just hanging out with a bunch of beautiful girls. And anyways, long story short, one of her friends, her amigas, we were at this like little party, and I remember talking to her, and then all of a sudden her eyes just turned black, like glazed over black. And it was a trip because, again, I don't drink. I don't do, like, I'm very sober, but my outlet is adrenaline, like skydiving or motorcycles or whatever. That's my drug. But I'm pretty clean. I don't really do a lot of the, alcohol or anything like that. So I wasn't intoxicated or anything, but it was just a trip to see her eyes glaze over black. And I kind of got this weird feeling again. And I kind of like, stepped back, and I left with the girl I was with. But again, before meeting you guys or kind of discovering your show or meeting people like more into the real world versus what's kind of dusted under the rug, I just ignored these things, but now kind of finding people that are similar with experiences, it's interesting. And then my ex as well recently, this is what's a trip too. It's kind of both ways, but where I skydive at in Eloy, past there is Tucson, and there's Madera Canyon, beautiful hiking spot, but a lot of paranormal activity up there. And what's crazy is on the top of the mountain range, U of A, they own, I think it's a telescope or something up there, and you can see it, you can go up there, but it's restricted, and they changed the name, but back in the day it was called Lucifer. And, it kind of adds like, I don't know, it's just, it's like, it's weird, like they don't admit it. And then what's even crazier is the Vatican has partial ownership with U of A up there on that telescope range. And long story short, we were hiking. I don't know if I told this story before, but she's from Peru, and we were up in the ranges. I don't know how high, maybe like a couple thousand feet. And, I ended up telepathically like hearing her thoughts. And she was like, how do you know this? And what I kind of analyzed in myself was, I think it had something to do with my skydive accident. I think my brain got rewired or something, and something got unlocked. But that was recent. And then even too with like animals and stuff like that. I love animals. I love nature. I have reptiles, and I have snakes. And it's kind of crazy sometimes when I'm alone in my place. I have this weird feeling that I'm being watched, right? And I know when it's watching me, like the snakes, like it's eyeing me, but it's hiding behind, the cocoa husk or whatever it is. And it's just a trip, like how, like you said, maybe I'm evolving, I don't know, or maybe it's something with the NDE, near-death experiences, kind of unlocking brain receptors in my mind. I have no idea. But a lot of these phenomena that I've experienced, it's interesting. What I believe, this is just my personal opinion, some of these people I've encountered, I think anthropologically, I think that a lot of them have abilities out there that they're born with. And I don't know how to explain it, but I think out here in America, with all these shots we get as children and all these injections, I think in a way it kind of diminishes genetically what we're born with. And I think we all have it, but I think for some reason here, a lot of the chemicals and everything else that gets injected in our bodies, it kind of, I'm not saying kills it, but it just like, it weakens the muscle of whatever it is we possess. But yeah, like I said before, it's just interesting topics and shape-shifting or whatever you want to call it. But what I do recommend is you should try, I can give you her information, but Sarah Weaver, she has some interesting stories with her dad. And I never had the chance to meet her dad, Travis Walton. But again, I always wondered, just like, why did I cross paths with her? You know what I mean? Like 10 years ago, and nobody has the answer. I don't, nobody does. But just like the life journey per se, it's interesting. Like, are we destined for certain things, to meet certain people at certain times, or encounter paranormal activity, or whatever you want to call it? And the same with you guys. Like you guys all have gifts, and it's interesting how we all just kind of collectively came together, like the hive mind. We all have various ways of describing certain phenomena, or I don't know, like I said, but I just enjoy your show, man. And I just want to say thanks again for doing what you do, just like Art Bell back in the day. I know we're not that old, but I was gifted enough to kind of hear about him back in the day and listen to some of the older shows he had. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I got to say. And thanks again for your time.
You're the best. Thanks for dealing with the holdover there at the bottom of the hour. Thank you for sharing the experiences. And yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things in play here, and we should keep our eyes open because you're not the only one I've spoken with that has seen some things that seem, well, out of this world, let's call it. And so let's keep sharing these experiences. Sorry, go ahead.
One more thing I was going to say I forgot was I guess recently, since I've been acknowledging, reflecting, introspection, just my journey, just kind of like meeting people or things I've experienced. You know, I put out this, like, I don't know what it is, but I believe it's just like a collective thought in the universe, you know, whether you meditate, whatever. And this last year, in 2025, it was weird again. I was just wanting to know more. I started reading more about different topics and all this stuff. And I ended up meeting, again, I swear to God, it's a true story. I can give you her information too. I ended up meeting this shaman here in Arizona. I never heard of her or whatever. And I kind of took some classes from her, and she kind of, you know, she's native. She's half Latin, half native, and kind of just, I guess the ancient wisdom. She was kind of just showing me that a lot of these things are not spoken of. And she just kind of gave me some insight on some of the things. And she's like, yeah, don't ignore what you're experiencing. She's like, it's happening for a reason. And she didn't give me no ayahuasca or anything like that. It was just like simple, you know, kind of like conversations. But some of the stuff she told me was kind of interesting. And she's like, yeah, you know, but again, it's like, you know, I put that thought out, and then all of a sudden she came into my life, you know, this shaman lady, this teacher. And what was crazy too, she literally lives like less than, I would say, probably 10 minutes from me, you know. And it's interesting how we're always kind of, psychology of environment, you know, you don't realize what's around you and why you're in that environment and who's around and who you're going to cross within that, you know, time frame you live there. But she's a great teacher. She's taught me a lot, and I'm still learning. I'm learning from you guys. I'm learning from everybody. But again, I don't know where I'm going next in the future, what I'm going to experience. But you know, it's just an honor to be around you guys too. You know, I never met you guys personally, but just to hear your wisdom over you know, the radio waves, it's inspiring, and hopefully others, you know, tune in this year, and you get more listeners that are, you know, reactive towards what we're talking about, you know, and open up and not kind of be, I call it shamed. You know what I mean? A lot of people are shameful to talk about whatever it is they're experiencing in life. So
I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. We are honored to be of your presence and to meet you and to commingle ideas, and looking forward to more. Okay. Appreciate the call, and stay safe out there. I know you're a skydiver. Please do it safely, and no more near-death experiences. And we'll talk to you soon. You have a great night. Appreciate the call.
God bless. Thanks.
You too. You're the best. Yeah, you know me, love him. That's Jay in Arizona, the official skydiver of Troubled Minds, because I don't know if we have another one. But also, he had a near-death experience, as you know. The first time he called, he told us all about that. Wild stuff. I do wonder if it does rewire the brain in some capacity, and that's something they've talked about for quite some time as well. Not just us, but other folks have studied this scientifically, and yeah, it's kind of a real thing. Let me click this over. There we go. James should be good to go. We're taking your calls tonight. We're talking doppelgangers. Really, I mean, I'm calling this, it's basically about the uncanny valley. Why? Why do we have sort of this sixth sense within us to detect and even feel revulsion for something that's almost human, that's so close to human, but we're like, it kind of gives us the icks, like the definite icks, like it goes back into our DNA thousands or even millions of years. Why is that? What are these mimics or doppelgangers? And do you have a theory on any of this stuff? Have you seen any of this stuff? You know, infamously, Billy Corgan said he saw a shapeshifter twice in his life. And he told this tale on the Howard Stern radio show, and he won't actually, you know, tell us about it because he doesn't want to out somebody's name or anything, but he swears it happened, and he says he wasn't even on anything, you know, not intoxicated at the time at all. So what the hell's really going on out there? Are we just, again, sort of seeing things that aren't real, seeing things that are real, or is there some sort of block in between, as I described earlier, with maybe the idea of a shaman or something like that, kind of projecting yourself back into their mind's eye or something to that degree? I don't know. A lot of ways to look at this. What do you guys believe? What do you know? And love to hear your thoughts. James, welcome back. If you got anything else, we got Joe on the line behind you as well, but take your time if you got some things.
Oh, just great call from Jay there. This is reminding me of some rare cases I've heard of where people encounter other people and they get a sense, they don't see anything unusual, but they get a sense or feeling that this other person that they happen to encounter, not directly saying this about anything what Jay said, but just examples that I've read and heard of where they can feel that the person that they're near is not a human. And it's not always negative. Sometimes it's neutral, sometimes it's just positive, sometimes it is negative. But they just can feel that, and or they can just feel there's energy or more to this person than being a regular person. So I think that's another angle or facet of this whole conversation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, all that. Lots of ways to look at this. And again, it just depends on, as I like to call this, it's reality tunnels, right? Like a materialist would be like, well, there's got to be some scientific explanation for this. Cool. Let's hear what that might be. The religious fundamentalist will be like, well, this is, this has been talked about in these religious books going back to the dawn of time. So, I mean, this stuff is real. Well, what is it? It's somewhere in between there, or maybe both. I don't know. And so what do you know about it? That's the whole point in having these conversations, is to look at the world in different ways, sort of put your different shoes on, different hats on, wear different hats, as they say, and consider the world as you may never have considered it before. And that's where I sit, kind of in between of all this, wondering how much of this is real and how much of this is, again, just fairy tales, just folklore, just true mythology, and how much of that kind of leaks into reality. That becomes the question. And that's why I'm here doing this. That's why I'm passionate about this. That's why I've been talking about this for years, because I think there's something to this that maybe we can figure out. Maybe not. You tell me. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Easy as that. Let's go to Joe in Florida. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and James. Just unmute, and it's all yours. Go right ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Hey.
Good evening. Sounds like you cut out. You went, hey, and then cut out. Nothing? Am I the one that cut out? James, can you hear me?
I hear you, and I heard him, and that's what I heard too.
Okay. Yeah, he went, hey, and then that was it. So I don't know if you unplugged there or your internet took a crap. I'll just keep talking for a second here, just to interrupt me as you will. Okay, I was trying to mention this earlier. I was trying to find the term, but it's ocular tremor. So it's a constant involuntary eye tremor of a low amplitude and high frequency. And this is the type of thing that is a type of fixational eye movement that occurs in all normal people. And if we see robots that don't do this, that don't have like these, very, very slow, twitchy human things that all humans do, then there you go. There's your uncanny valley. But I was looking for that term earlier. I couldn't find it. But there you go. I found it. It was in my notes. But anyway, so we're talking doppelgangers tonight, and we'll get to the D&D mimic. I think that's incredible also. But the uncanny valley is a hypothesis in robotics, animation, and aesthetics proposing that as artificial entities such as robots or computer-generated characters become increasingly human-like in appearance and behavior, human observers' emotional response shifts from affinity to revulsion when the resemblance is close but imperfect. Why? Joe, I can't hear you. So I don't know if you got to reboot or whatever it is you got to do, but you're definitely welcome to do that. Yeah, lots of things here. And I don't really know. You know me. I don't know. I don't know anything. My entire premise here of being here is kind of put reality to the side and just talk about these wild ideas and consider outside of your reality tunnel. That's the point, right? And I was looking into some of the science on this, and again, this is from what is this called? The National Library of Medicine. Okay, we talk about these links quite a lot, right? It's uncanny valley is a window into predictive processing in the social brain. So they've done science on this uncanny valley effect. So, okay, we already did this. Joe in Florida, I hear you now. I hear a. Are you there? Are you back? What happened? No, negative. Negatory. Something happened. Okay. So uncanny valley refers to humans' negative reaction to almost but not quite.
How about now?
Whoa, there we go. That's better. Welcome back.
I think my USB is flaking out. Where'd you guys lose me?
Literally at hey. You said hey, and then you cut out. So we lost you
the whole time. I'm so sorry. Anyway, real quick. So if you ever watched the movie Devil's Advocate with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves, I was sort of the scene of like the women that were some of the lawyers. When you look at them a certain way, their faces turn crooked and sideways. Did you get that?
No, I got it now, but you literally didn't say anything the first time.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just making sure that I'm still connected, because if it goes off, I don't know if it's my USB port or what. But so when I remember seeing that, it was like uncanny. It wasn't that it was grotesque or anything. It was just these were regular people, but they were actually devils. And when you looked at them a certain way or something, their face would show up crooked and distorted. And it was really weird. It always stuck with me. And then it made me think of angels in the Bible that were literally described as just like flying eyes and things. And albeit now I go to church a lot for my job. And in certain churches, some of the stained glass actually has like eyes and angels, basically just eyes depicting angels and things. It's kind of weird to think that maybe our ancestors saw that at some kind of a time and did have a natural fear of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you still on?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm with you. Go ahead.
So then, then another thing is kind of funny, because not that we go to church a lot, but this is just kind of popping in my head. But we went to a Christmas Mass at a French church, not a Catholic church. I'm a recovering Catholic. But anyway, we went to church, and it struck me as odd that aside from singing a lot of karaoke, the pastor's message was, when Jesus was born, if you believe such a thing, that the shepherds and everybody were scared because of the light and because of the angels and because of the things they saw, that there was fear. So fear of the unknown, natural fear that, yes, probably was genetically put in us, when we were probably, trying not to be hunted by bigger game or bigger animals and things. And then fear when we see things we don't understand, and it gets sent down, as told in stories and in books and in things. So just kind of weird, and then when I think about like AI and the future, and I think I put it in the comments too, I thought about Aleister Crowley and certain ways of doing a portal, not a Stargate, but a portal opening, whether it was by a seance or a ritual magic, how these things probably manifest themselves. And people see them, like shadow people and, certain things. I know I've been around people, like we've described, I've been around people that almost kind of show very little emotion, or their eyes, their pupils can be slits. I've seen that. I know somebody that lives a little bit away from me, and he's written a book, and he has the left-handed path, and he believes in these other things. But when you talk to him, he's creepy. I don't know if that doesn't make him human or not. He does have the word Sobek, he calls himself, which is basically the alligator lizard, I believe, from Egyptian times.
It sure is.
And he tries to take that that tulpa or that belief. Like me, I did the Stargate helmet, which was basically Anubis, and who knew that I was going to be a funeral director? So was that me putting the future out there by building this Anubis helmet that I have? And whenever I wear it, everybody loves it, whatever, but that's the god of like funeral directing, basically. So all these things, and then when I look at more modern times, if you want to argue about or debate the CERN collider or the quantum singularity or AI, somebody in the chat was kind of debating that. But when you look at the Tower of Babel, when you look at events, it seems that we might get to a certain point where we know it's not right. Ethically, we know things aren't right, but yet there's a segment of the population that goes ahead and does it anyway. And I kind of wonder if that uncanny valley starts to get a little more touched. In other words, maybe the things that we're seeing are manifested from another realm, quantum or not, another dimension, whatever it is that we see. But who knows if AI itself isn't able to maybe manipulate that a little bit more. we know that we could use routers to scan people in a house, right? We know these things can be used in our own houses right now as we speak. But who's to know if AI or something doesn't turn up the frequency and they could do a Project Bluebeam in your own house? You could be laying in bed and have an image appear in front of you, and it's totally manipulated, or it's just let loose from the quantum realm or from another dimension because we open things up. I don't know, but it's a healthy fear. I think a lot of us do follow that fear, but I think the majority of the people in control don't care, or they're just the ones that are manipulating it. They are the doppelgangers. They are the shapeshifters. They are the vampires. They are the old ones that walk among us. They are the ones that take I don't want to say the word, but they are the ones that take the hormone, whatever you want to say. And they hold dominion over us quietly. Whereas the kings of old, the Old Testament God, and all of those things, they were in your face, but they cause a lot of casualties. Humanity's definitely progressed from a technological standpoint, but we're still the same. And we still have that primate brain, I guess. I'm just kind of rambling, but anyway.
Yeah, hold on. Before you go, though, so fantastic stuff. Before you go, so the uncanny valley effect, we're told, scientifically, one of the reasons is we're supposed to be afraid of corpses. So you, being the funeral director and being sort of around corpses all the time, is this a thing that's normal? Is this something you do get that uncanny valley effect when you see a corpse or your colleagues? Is this something you heard, or is this not? Because from what I've heard, it's not, but I'd love to hear your expertise on that.
So here's the thing, man. I don't like horror. I was just having this conversation tonight with my cousin-in-law. I don't particularly care for horror movies and gore movies and horror movies. And the reason why is because it sensationalizes the ease of killing people or killing a friend or killing an ally. And that's a reality I have to live with every day, with neighbors that may have voted a certain way or done a certain thing or things I don't agree with. I have to remember they're my neighbors. So, but from a Hollywood standpoint, I can't stand watching that garbage. Now, I didn't mean to become a funeral director, but I had to embalm somebody Friday evening. And a lot of times when we embalm them, the bodies are still warm. And what scares me about myself is I have the ability I could discuss it with people in a joking way, because that's how I cope with it. I don't have to discuss it at all. And you just put your gloves on and you get your hands dirty. And that's it, man. That's it. And what scares me about that is how many other things in the future might I have to get my hands dirty about and not lose sleep over, if you understand what I'm getting at.
Whoa, easy. Let's back off the cliff, buddy. I understand what you mean.
But you understand.
I get what you mean. I get
Uncanny Valley, a very maybe unique or good view of the Uncanny Valley. It's not a funny thing. I don't want to step into it. But yes, when there's a body on a table, it's just a body on a table. You want to treat the body with respect, but it is just the body. Whatever inhabited that body has gone back to whatever source it has gone. Right? But I worry. I did a prep on it. I worried that it wasn't done right, and the other embalmer came in and he's like, no, he looks good, he took the fluid. So you worry about it, even though it's just the body.
Indeed. You're the best. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for the call. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Good night.
Take care. Joe in Florida. You know him, you love him. Good friend for a long time. A funeral director with some unique insights into the world. We're talking the Uncanny Valley tonight. What do you know about it? I'm calling this, we forgot what the warning means. They almost look human. Why do you think this is built into us so deeply? And why the revulsion when you see something not quite right? Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere.
This is Troubled Minds. Your host, Michael Strange, the master of the mysterious, is here to guide you through the shadows of the unexplained.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we forgot what the warning means. They almost look human. And we're talking doppelgangers. We're talking entities of the uncanny valley. Things that you see that are almost human, but not quite. Not quite. They have these things called, humans have ocular tremors, but the entities that are weird and wild do not. Why? And why is this sort of baked so deeply into our fear response, into the fight or flight mechanism? Because to me, like I said, this doesn't seem like an oddity, not a glitch. It seems like a feature. And maybe I'm being provocative and saying, well, maybe there were some things that looked human. They were predator-like. And actually, maybe, I haven't seen this anywhere. I didn't dig too deeply into the science of this, other than some of the articles I linked down below. Do check them out. I encourage you to read more on this. But I wonder if that idea kind of fits with like the different hominid species that were coexisting at one point. Like, for instance, the Neanderthals or Homo sapiens, this type of thing. I wonder if part of this comes from that, where you see them and they look like you, but they kind of also don't look like you. Does that make sense? I mean, maybe there's an anthropological thread there where some of that stuff does make some sense. Maybe it doesn't, because clearly, right, you got Bigfoot's, half cousin kind of doesn't look like you. So why are you going to get the uncanny valley effect? I don't know. But I don't know. What's your idea on this? There's a lot of ways to look at this. And like I said, we will get to doppelgangers and stuff and get weird, because it is what we like to do here. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. Anything to add, James? We got Kelly on the line behind you, but love to hear what your take on Joe's call there is, or whatever else you got.
Yeah, great call from Joe. Two little details here I think are possibly connected. There are many reports of shadow figures changing shape. Not just being humanoid, but becoming or going from human to animal or animal to human, and that kind of thing as well. Just the shape, and it's still a shadow. The other thing is, I believe I have heard people talk about when they have Bigfoot encounters, where they can't tell how much they sense some level of human in Bigfoot and Sasquatch, whatever you want to call them. But they can't tell how much, and even to the point where when they've seen them and felt frightened, and they brought up, let's say, any kind of firearm that they had, they could not bring themselves to shoot at Bigfoot because it felt too human, even though it was very much not a regular human.
Yeah, I hadn't heard any of that type of stuff. People getting a clean shot at Bigfoot, but I feel the same way too. By the way, like if I got a clean shot at a Bigfoot, I was out hunting or something, and this thing just came across, out there in the tree line, I don't think I could take a shot. I mean, like imagine bagging Bigfoot. Like you'd be not just a hero, you'd also be reviled by like 2/3 of the world. They're like, it's like the biggest endangered species ever, and this a-hole shot him. Yeah. If you see Bigfoot out there, don't shoot Bigfoot, please. PSA, public service announcement. Love that, James. Anything else?
No, but I agree. Yeah, never shoot anything unless it's coming at you and you absolutely have no choice.
No shooting Bigfoot, guys. New Troubled Minds rule. We do not shoot Bigfoot. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. See you there, Kramos. Let's set up the thing here. James, you're going to get some echo. I'm going to set up for the phone line. Let's go to Kelly in Colorado. Been a minute, my man. Happy New Year to you and yours. Welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Go right ahead. What do you know about the uncanny valley, mimics, and everything else?
Good evening, Michael. How you been, man?
I'm pretty good, man. How are you?
Good. Trying to get some stuff rearranged in the house, putting some bathrooms in, stuff like that. I've been busy myself, and when you were off at the same time, I was doing the exact same thing. I was doing some changing in the house,
Oh yeah. If you don't do it, it doesn't get done. That's a fact.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even hear anything but what he was just saying just now, I couldn't even hear him. I couldn't even hear James.
Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, my bad.
That's fine. But just, I don't know exactly what he said, but the last part when you were talking about the Bigfoot thing, yeah.
Yeah, don't shoot Bigfoot.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to shoot. I wouldn't want to shoot Bigfoot, but you know what? I would like to shoot him with a tranquilizer.
Yeah.
Try to put him down like that. That way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then invite him for dinner. Like he wakes up at the dinner table. You're like, hey, my name's See what happens. Better you than me. Make sure you got. Make sure you got it filming so we have the post-mortem after he wrecks you in the house. I mean, I'm just kidding, but anyway, yeah. So James was basically suggesting that he's read some accounts where people did have a shot at Bigfoot and couldn't because it looked too human. As kind of what he was describing as part of this uncanny valley effect we're talking about tonight. What do you know about it? Why are we sort of wired to have this revulsion for something that's almost human but not quite? What is that? The mimic, the doppelganger, this type of thing. What do you know about it?
The whole doppelganger part, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stories where people say that you could see, like, you know, I don't know, I guess it would be more of a shapeshifter or something, you know what I mean? That could shape shift into, you know, look like you or something. But as for the doppelganger part, it's interesting because I mean, you can see. For me, when you bring that up, what came to mind for me as the reason why I called was like back in the day where you had all these orphan trains, right? You remember those? Like all these kids supposedly came from Europe and these parents had died and but they had like trains and trains of these kids, young kids, right? And they're shoveling them all through the United States into like different cities and whatnot. And then after that, you had where they had what they called incubator babies, right? Like they were just growing babies in incubators. You seen that, right? They were, you know, it's claimed to be like around the Tartarian time, but yeah, they have like old in magazines and then like newspapers where they talk about it, incubator babies, where they were just like cloning these kids, you know? So I look at that two stories like that, you know what I mean? When we start talking about, you know, doppelgangers, but it's interesting too, because I mean, back in the day, they had this show called just, you know, they had just talking about just like this, doppelgangers, right? And I told this story before, but there was these two girls, you know, they never met. They look exactly like, they could even, they look like twins, you know, more or less. I mean, when they met too, they were dressed like almost the same colors, the same style. They never met each other. And they did DNA tests and they're, you know, they're not any way related, but they're like, you know, so for me, I look back too. So, you know, how old this, you know, like you're talking about, how old does this go back, right? For me, I mean, I look at like the Sumerian stories, like in what's his name's book, Zachary Extension, his book is the last book that's called the Lost Book of Enki, right? And some of those tablets in there, they were explaining how in his book, he says like, you know, like Enki, right? He was the one who first started what, you know, help jumpstart, you know, mankind, right? From some creature. And then let's say it'd be even a Bigfoot, but you know, they're adding their DNA, supposedly. We all know the story, right? But he was supposed to, in the story, in his book, he explains that he was supposed to give out all these, what they call the AMEs. And that's a theory that I go into. Well, that's one of my theories. But, you know, conclusion that I come up with is that when he's talking about he was supposed to give out these AMEs, right? And everybody that they were Anunnaki, you know, their family members, but they were out to go start their own civilization, you know, and all they were just eggs, human eggs. So they were all clones of each other. And that's why I believe that you have doppelgangers around the world. You have, you know, people that were every continent looks one, like from India, from Africa, they all look like you though, but maybe slightly different, obviously, because of skin color, but you know, everybody was all dark skinned at one time and back in the day anyway. But if you look at it, you could see, I mean, everybody does. You'll have one even be female, a female that even looks almost like you. So for me, that's one of my theories, is that when you go back even further like that, and these books are explaining, and these tablets are explaining what. So Enki was, all these civilizations started around the world. They might give their little tweak, what people look like and the language they spoke, stuff like that. But at the same time, we all got doppelgangers. And the reason, why would that even be? That's the question I would have all the time. That'd be like virtually impossible, unless they're, your siblings or something, or you were born a twin. But having somebody that looks exactly like you. I mean, I had people even coming up to me, and this one guy had a conversation with me, and not even for a minute there, I was kind of like, what the hell? I thought he was crazy, so I just, was kind of like helping. I swear to God, I was just kind of having a conversation with, because I thought this guy was like, and then next, he stopped and he's looking at me for a minute, and then he goes, "Oh man, you know what? I'm so sorry. I thought you looked. What's your name?" And I told him my name, and he was like, "I'm sorry. I thought you were somebody else." He goes, "But I swear to God, you look just like him." I'm like, "Where is he at? I want to see this guy." But for me, that whole doppelganger part, that's where, from some of the research I've done, even reading a lot of these books, I mean, without Zacharias Tension, some of these books are crazy, man. Some of these tablets, I mean, like I said, you can go into, read them all yourself. But I mean, yeah, again, so why were these, these orphan trains, these incubator babies? It's the same thing. It's like they're replenishing, and that's part of maybe the part resets of they're doing. They all this war, and conflict, and then they have to replenish it, and then that's one way of doing it. And especially if it's the so-called Tartaria time back then, and the the things that they made, the high. I mean, because it was like high-level stuff anyway. I mean, look at the stuff they were making, the architecture. Like even. What blows my mind is like those world fairs they used to have. I went down deep in those rabbit holes, man, and that's pretty crazy back then. I mean, even before the 1900s. But but yeah, that's all I got tonight, man. That's what I think. That's want to put my little 2 cents in again, like I always say.
Right on. I appreciate that. So before you go, though, let me ask you this. So why is it we have that revulsion, like that actual uncanny valley revulsion of like fight or flight? If we see something that looks 99.5% human, our mind doesn't really catch it, but there's something deep within us that does and gives us that, ooh, what is that? Like, that's not human. Why? It seems like a very, I don't know, like an unnecessary trait we would have. I mean, it's like spiders, right? I mean, there's spiders all over the world. It's obvious why we would have this revulsion for spiders. But seeing something that's 99.5% human and is just not quite human, it gives us that spider effect. Do you have a theory on why that might be?
I don't know. For me, when I look at that, I take it different. I'll take it this way: is that okay? So most people will do that, right? But it's like you're indoctrinated. We're already indoctrinated already. Once if you put a kid in that position, right? They're going to be intrigued. They probably won't even be scared. I mean, if you're not even like, say the parents, didn't even know what didn't believe in the Bigfoot, and they were up in the mountains, right? So they never taught their kid anything like that. That kid would be more intrigued with that than anything else. I mean? Instead of running and scared, I mean? Some of that stuff is just embedded in you from your parents and your grandparents or your ancestors before that. I mean? That's something they had to deal with, so, and it's maybe some of those stories are true, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole different show we've been doing too. You know what I mean? Like, we never know what was out there. You know what I mean? We really don't. And what's still out there? I mean, obviously, like Bigfoot, that type stuff, or even these different cryptids. But yeah, that whole jerk reaction like that, I believe sometimes that it's just, know what I mean? That's like a, you know, something that was embedded through maybe, you know, your, like I said, your parents, you know, stories or something like that. You know what I mean? Because again, if you take a kid, they're more willing to go up something like, you know, that maybe that's why kids can see fairies or, you know, stuff that grown up still can't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, once you start getting older, you start not believing in the stuff so much.
Yeah, I mean, and for good reason. I mean, you know, if let's say you were able to kind of entertain these ideas as a youngster, you know, you start to maybe not see these things, and so for good reason, you stop believing in many of these ideas, and that's fine. And I'm not even saying they're real, by the way. You know me; I'm always trying to walk the fence here and be like, okay, so why are we dealing with these stories and these tales and all of these things the world over that are literally almost identical? That they have different names, but the stories are very similar, very hero's journey type stuff, very Carl Jung, the archetypes we always talk about. And that's the most fascinating part to me, because it's not necessarily, for my fascination, it's not necessarily about little green men, okay? Back to the YouTube page where you found me. But it's more about our fascination with little green men and our fascination with that uncanny valley and finding things that are not human and recognizing that these stories have been told for centuries, millennia, in different places all over the world that are very similar. That's the thing that really cooks my brain when I think about this, because what does it mean? That really becomes the question. And I don't know. I don't really know, but you know me, that's why I like to talk about these. And as you know, look too, a materialist or a, you know, religious fundamentalist is going to talk about these exact things in very different ways. So which is it, right? I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. You met me IRL. I'm not any different than I am here on the stream. I'm exactly the same guy, but it's like to entertain the ideas, but I don't know what to believe, to be perfectly honest.
That's true. You know, and that's the thing too. And that's why I like to take on all information myself. You know, personally, I take on, like, I don't believe in anything, but I like to listen to every story, every information that I can lay my hands on. I have tons of books that once I get time, you know, get done with work, and, you know, I like done with work in retirement, I at least start delving more into the books that I'm just stockpiling right now, so that when I have no job, nothing else to do, and I start, you know, delving harder into the stuff, it'll be waiting for me. So, but I still read a lot, you know what I mean? I still try to get it in there, but man, sometimes work gets a little bit longer than it should be, but
tell me about it. Tell me about it. I almost canceled tonight. I was like, oh God, what am I going to do? I can't come up with an idea. I pulled it out last second. Pulled it out. I ate something just before. I mean, if you guys saw how I was in the hour and a half before this starts, you guys would be like, why do you do this at all, Mike? Why do you put yourself in this? And that's why sometimes I do have to cancel, because I'm out of ideas. But I have you guys. I have you. I've been a good friend for literally since the beginning. Thank you for, again, being part of this. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for the ideas. And thanks for considering that the world may not be as we expect it to be. You were the best, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man. You know, we'll always be here. But one last thing, though, on that, I was thinking about, you were just saying, like, it's really and truly, even though, like, all the information, I don't, like, you know, like I said, with movies and everything, that, like, how, you know, maybe people get scared, but I don't know, man, I'm more intrigued. Like, if I ever seen, like, I mean, I've seen stuff, but, like, I haven't really laid eyes on, you know, let's say, you know, a different species, you know, from a different planet. You know what I mean? I'm saying, like, something that doesn't look human. And, you know, people, there's a lot of stories that they're saying people that they're walking among us, and I've seen some crazy stuff, but, like, I'm saying, like, out of their skin, you know what I mean? Something that looks, you know, the green guys, or, you know, the tall whites, or stuff like that, or even like a Bigfoot, man. Like, I don't know, man, that would be, at first, I'd be just frozen just watching it, you know what I mean? And what else would you going to be doing? You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm always prepared, though, camera wise and everything else. But, like, everybody says that, you know, you'd be ready, but when it happens, that's a whole different story.
It happened to me. It happened to me. I have very few actual like anomalous type stories, but it totally happened to me. I was driving down the highway. It was late. I don't know if I've told you this. Have you heard this one before?
No.
Okay, so I'm driving down the highway. I'm coming home. I'm coming home from Arizona. I'm on the 93 from Arizona to Nevada, southern Nevada, and it's coming through into Boulder City. And over on the right side in the sky, there's like these orange orbs. And over there, they do skydiving and stuff. And so it's like, you know, there's a helicopter tour that goes into the Grand Canyon. So I wasn't tripping too much. It was maybe 6 or 8 of these things. I don't know, maybe 10. Like you don't stop and count, right? But I'm driving and I look over. I'm like, oh, cool. You know, you figure they're parachuting with some flares or, you know, something. But then these things start like sort of swirling around each other, like kind of dancing together, like not falling really. Now it starts to look like a drone show, except these things are kind of big. And it's kind of far out there. And I'm like, what the hell is going on, right? And so by the time I realize that something is weird is happening, I pull over and I get out and I'm like standing there on the side of the road, like with my mouth wide open, just staring at this thing, like, what is going on over there? And then I'm like, oh, I got to get a picture. I got to get a video. And I run back to my car and all these things vanish, literally just disappear. So it's like your first instinct is not necessarily to grab a camera when you see something that kind of rattles you, you know, like it's happened to me. I feel that.
Yeah. It's like wanting to actually just kind of like trying to like comprehend what you're seeing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the first few times, you know, after a while, like I just started looking, you know, they just like show up, but you know, the first few times, but when they started coming in different shapes and sizes, that's what was, you know, that's when I was like, man, I need to start getting pictures and videos of this shit because.
Yeah.
Anyway, we already know that story, but
yeah, it's all
right, man. Good show tonight, man. I just wanted to call in, you know, give my 2 cents again, and you know, say hello again.
You were the best.
Welcome back, Mike.
Thank you very much. Tell Michelle we said hi. The best to you and yours, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too. Kelly in Colorado. You know him, you love him. Good friend for a long time. Literally the first guy that called and then called back. And also shout out Joe was the second guy that called and called back. Some of you guys have been with this show for a very long time, and that's a blessing to have so many good, smart friends able to consider ideas. Again, outside of the paradigm of what truth means. Truth, right? Quote, truth. I don't know. Like hyper reality is fine when the powers that be, like when the New York Times spins a thread that's completely phony, it's cool. But if I do it, I'm like some ruffian, nonsensical, whatever. Like go ahead and pick your pejorative for what Michael Strange is, and guess what? I don't care. I don't care. Hate it. James, got a minute left if you got anything to add. If not, we'll wait till the bottom of the hour. We got Daryl coming up as well. Kramos with his hand up. Thanks for the call, Kelly. Amazing stuff as always. And thanks, James, for dealing with the audio here. Hopefully no echo.
I'll try. Let's see. All right. Yep. Good. No echo. Yeah. Great call from Kelly. And yeah. And just what you were all talking about there with the cameras, that always one of those things that sticks in my mind, you know, when you see something that you can't explain. Most people I've heard of, their first thought is not, I need a picture of this. It's, what is this? It's, how is this happening? And that can go for any number of things, not just UFOs or lights in the sky. And I think that can even go for, you know, when people encounter anything that's changing shape when they're out there, and then it's gone, you know. And I do think there is something to that idea of people, there being identical looking people around the world, but also when they start to vanish, when you go around the corner and you're following them, that's not a regular person, obviously. So, but great call from Kelly.
And great comments from you. Great stuff. Appreciate it very much. We're talking doppelgangers, mimics. Once again, why is this a thing that's ubiquitous the world over, through the temporal space, geographically? How weird is this? And not only that, why do we have something built deep within our fight or flight mechanism to sniff this out? Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. We got Daryl and Kramos. More from James and your calls coming up. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting, which you can find at troubledminds.org. On the very top, just click play. As simple as that, right? Let me mute the thing here. Mute the site. Oh, it is muted. So you can just click it right there. Simple as that. And it'll start playing. You can hear us live right now on the site. Simple as that. We're also on 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're talking doppelgangers, but not particularly doppelgangers. We're talking about that uncanny valley effect. Now, what does that mean? And why is it built so deeply into our fight or flight mechanism of our DNA, of going back to who knows what level of epigenetics or what level of sort of primordial memory sticks that makes us see something that's nearly human, but not quite. Right? There's nothing that kind of fits the bill there. I mean, we haven't found any almost humans, have we? So what the hell's actually going on? That becomes the real question here. And yes, am I playing stupid a little bit as part of these conversations? Yes, you bet your ass. Only because I want to ask questions. I don't know. I really don't know. But I do think there's something to this. And what does it mean? You tell me. That's exactly the point of having a conversation with people on the wide open internet. And I know people are going to take their shots, but people are going to be interested too. And that's what it's all about. You tell me. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. James stepped away for a second. We're going to go straight to Daryl. Thanks for being patient, my friend. Daryl in New York. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you? Unmute and go right ahead. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey. Great show. Great subject. Interesting stuff here. I was thinking, back in those days, maybe like people were, getting eaten by like alligators or lions or baboons or, snake bites. Like they had to be careful because there were dangers in getting, attacked by a wild animal if they were, kind of living half in, a city, half in the country. I don't know if they had, they had experiences of being attacked by animals and killed probably. So I was thinking that's a natural instinct to be cautious when you have like, who knows if they had dragons or, snakes or the talking snakes, things like that, I think they were, probably very frightened. The other thing I was thinking of, were they genetically modifying people or animals like Cyclops, Bigfoot, whatever? Were they also very tall and they were to be feared? And if they were cloning people, what if you saw your clone and you figured out that you're probably going to be replaced by that clone? They're like an upgraded model of you. That means you're out. You're going to get put out to pasture, perhaps. It might have been that's the end of you. That's like an insecurity to see somebody identical to you, and it's very possible they were cloning, or I just forgot his name. He just hung up. He mentioned those babies that were like,
Kelly.
Cabbage Patch babies. Did they really like make them out of like? It sounded like they hatched them and they were selling them or something, at a different reset. So, it's very possible they were creating all kinds of like chimeras and being very experimental with genetics, etc.
Yeah, I would expect the late, great Eric von Daniken would say, yeah, probably. I mean, ancient astronaut theorists say yes, right? That there was some sort of tampering with our DNA way back. And I don't know, but
exactly.
Okay, so let's frame it that way just for a second. Whether you believe that or not, as a thought, again, this entire thing is a thought experiment. This entire many multi-year conversation is a thought experiment. But think of it this way. Let's frame it in that space for right now. Now, if there were actual clones, chimeras, the Igigi, whatever that came from those old stories of ancient astronaut theory, I wonder if that thing that's built into us to spot them is because of something like that, where you knew they were human, but something deeper within you knew they were not human. You see what I'm saying? Again, just as a thought experiment, whether you believe that stuff or not, I halfway tongue in cheek say the ancient astronaut theorists say yes. That's, part of that conversation. I don't know what to believe. I wasn't here a million years ago. So I don't know. But think about it in that
Right.
framework, and suddenly it does make a little bit of sense that we would be entirely repulsed by something that was almost human, but not quite, right?
Right? But what if they really could change themselves into animals and you caught them? Like I've heard of people seeing people turn from human to alligator right before their eyes, that they didn't know that they were being watched, you know, when they kind of let their guard down and they kind of relaxed into their regular skin. I mean, that would be really scary, you know, if they had the ability. And it sounds like, you know, some people have the ability to change humans into animals. You know, if you believe some of the mythology, there was one goddess, I don't remember which one. She used to turn men into pigs, right?
I don't know that
So,
one.
you know, that.
Thank goodness.
Oh, you know that one? Yeah.
Thank goodness.
I was just listening to that recently. I don't remember who it was. I went to sleep to it. Yeah, but if you could turn people into rocks or people into animals or people, you could just clone them and make a duplicate, you know, that would be like, and if you got to see them in the process, maybe you saw them grow up, you know. Maybe they don't come out exactly like you. They're aged quickly, supposedly, if you have a clone. They can prematurely age it, or not prematurely, the other word, accelerate their growth. That would be pretty weird to see yourself as a baby and then suddenly an adult rapidly, and then you just know that something's wrong. Plus, you're probably scared that, yeah, you're going to be replaced, you know? You can't have two of you. There can only be one if you listen to Highlander.
I was going to say, so says Highlander. 100%.
Right? But that would be very frightening. And who knows if they were these tall people that they thought were either gods, but then they weren't really gods. You know, they looked like humans, but how could they be so tall and things like that? You know.
Yeah,
I think
a lot of ways to look at it. Like I said, thought experiments, guys. Think of it in terms of thought experiments. And what does it mean? I don't really know. Hate to cut you short. We got 2 calls to get to before we wrap this. But final thought, and then if you got a joke, love to hear it.
No, I kind of do. Imagine, I was thinking if something went wrong and they made like a whole civilization of just John Lennon, right? They made John Lennon clones. Imagine all the people.
Indeed. Damn it, Daryl. You were the best. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for the call. Fire joke. And always a pleasure. Have a great night. Daryl in New York, give her a follow. TroubledMinds.org/friends. Scroll down. It's alphabetical. Follow Daryl. I'll show you how to do it. Simple as that right there on the stream. Friends, scroll down. And there you go. Go follow her YouTube channel. And the Cosmic Comic of Troubled Minds. Shout out Sweets for coming up with that. I'm pretty sure. We're talking doppelgangers tonight, but not just the doppelganger itself as an idea, as a mimic, but also this weird uncanny valley effect. And why is it so deeply embedded within us to sort of notice an almost human and then just get completely revulsed? Also, Daryl's sniffing it out. She's telling the future. We're going to do a show on John Lennon coming up in a week or 10 days or something. Good old Daryl, always sniffing out the future there. James, anything? I don't know if you're back. Anything to add real quick? We got Herschel and Kramos to get to as well, but you stepped away for a second. I don't know if you're there.
I'm back, and nothing to add, but just great call from Dale as always. And yeah, I mean, there's all these possibilities when it comes to all these things. And I do think, like I said earlier, that touches on what I said earlier, where I do think that the way that there seem to be duplicates of people around the world, that is a thing. But also the more anomalous ones are where they vanish or appear out of nowhere. So I know I already said that, but anyway, that's what I have for now.
You are the best. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Let's go to Kramos. Kramos in Chile. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and James. What's on your mind tonight? We're talking mimics and the uncanny valley. How are you, sir?
Hello. Can you hear me good?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, cool. First of all, I'm going to give you the info of this new channel that I have, the Notables Radio. Because like I told you before, my Kramos channel, they deleted.
Okay, wait.
Anyway.
Okay, wait. Please don't do that. Just make me a link tree and put your channel in the link tree. And that way, if that happens, you can just change it and I don't have to change anything. I can't be changing your guys' links all the time. Okay. So that's why the link tree is critical. So if something happens like that, you just swap it. Nothing changes. Your link stays on my site and they go find your new channel. Okay. Let's get to the topic at hand. We got a call behind you. We got a call behind you. So please, go ahead.
I have a question for James.
Sure.
James, how old were you when you saw for the first time this tall, beautiful, elegant, like celestial being that was not a man or a woman? It was like just in the middle. How old were you, James, when you first saw that marvel being?
I'm not sure if you're thinking of someone else. I never had that encounter that I'm aware of.
Okay, that's all. Thank you, James. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, so send me the thing. So do me again. Help me help you, because I just can't be doing it all the time because people change channels, change usernames, all the things. Make me a link tree, send it to me one time. I'll put it on the website, and then you can change and add stuff as much as you need to. Okay, I'm not trying to be rude or a jerk about it. Okay,
I will make it easy for you. I've never used Linktree, but there's always the first time.
There you go, and it's super easy.
When I'm done with that, I will say, yeah, I will check it out. Thank you.
Okay, if you need help with it, you let me know. You know where to find me.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thanks for the call, brother. I would say follow Kramos, but apparently his link is not working. So don't do that just yet. Give us a little bit to figure that out, and then we'll troubledminds.org/friends. If you scroll down, it's alphabetical. It says Kramos right there. So don't click it yet. We'll figure it out, and then we'll actually be able to get you to his actual website, his new. Hey, look, sometimes you say some things and you get banned on YouTube. And by the way, too, if you want to criticize me for like, oh, Mike doesn't say all the things he should be saying. Well, I'm not trying to get banned on YouTube. Do you understand? Like it's a lot of work to kind of pump all that energy into a space and then say some things that get you banned. Okay. So criticize away. I'm just saying. We're talking the uncanny valley. We're talking mimics. We're talking these ideas. And what do you know about it? And how weird is it get? And look, if it's nothing, that's fine. 702-957-1037. 1037. Herschel, you're feeding back through the thing. I can hear me through you. Test, Herschel. You are on Troubled Minds. But I hear myself. Are you there? Okay. Test. I don't. I do hear myself. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna drop you down. Or please mute. And then figure that out. Because I'm just talking back to myself here. This is terrible show stuff. Okay. All right. Doing it. And I'm gonna invite you back when you're ready. Okay. So
technology is always fun.
Sorry, go ahead.
Technology is always fun.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's I don't know, like maybe he was AFK or something and I snuck up on him. Maybe he expected Kramos' call to go longer. Thanks for the call, Kramos, and the question. Like I said, not trying to be a jerk. Just give me the information. I'll do my best to help me help you. Okay. So let's talk about this real quick too. The doppelganger is an interesting aspect of this. And it's the thing that we haven't talked about a ton. Maybe Test. Still coming through. Test. 1, 2. Are you there, Hirsch? Audio routing is a bitch, I tell you what. Okay. Nope. We heard you, I think. Did you hear him, James?
I didn't, but I'm also somewhat. I'm kind of doing a couple things at once here, but no, I didn't.
Okay. I'm gonna drop you back down and re-invite you. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your bit there. Okay, there you go. The thing is too tall, and the Funny enough, my monitor, because I've got a standing desk, the tall monitor is right up to the ceiling fan, so I kind of can't see the top of it. Anyway, so the doppelganger, check this out, is a non-corporeal, I mentioned this earlier, and James brought this up when we first started tonight as well, is a non-corporeal or corporeal apparition identical to a living individual, rooted in German folklore, where it manifests as an eerie double, often signaling impending death or calamity. Now, that's the bizarre part and the scary part about the doppelganger itself. And so I wonder if part of that uncanny valley effect is because of this. Maybe you see yourself in some capacity before your demise, right? Herschel, test 1, 2. I don't hear myself through you. I hear some banging around back there.
Are you able to hear me now?
I can hear you now. And
great.
No echo. You're good. Welcome to the thing. Thanks for fixing that.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm still learning. I got this new thing. I'm learning it. Okay, so yeah, you know, this thing of the 99.9% human thing, like I have had that experience where something's like, I've seen people that aren't people. Like I have a few times, where it's just, you just know something's wrong. You know, one time I think it was just like a cop who was in disguise. And I think it's somebody that I knew. And so that I didn't know why I knew them, but I knew them and I didn't know why. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, like, and that was really creepy, and it just made me want to look away from them because I just don't like deception. I don't like deceptive people. You know, I have a difficult time with that. But there's been other times where I kind of feel like I had two different reactions. One time, my reaction was just like to avoid the person, avoid the situation, and just be conflict avoidant. And of course, don't tell anybody because they're just going to think you're crazy. You know?
Right.
And then,
absolutely.
Yeah. And then the other time it was, my first reaction was to take, like, I felt like I was suppressing something very primal where I was looking at something unfriendly. And it was really guttural. It was really like I could feel it in my gut. And there was a part of me that wanted to act on that. And then, but a part of me was suppressing that feeling, that genetic, like it was almost like a genetic memory, like a primal memory, like I need to act, you know? So I do think that that's real. And I do think that that there are something really close to people out there that you run into. Like I do think that
are not people. Okay, so
right.
Okay, so fascinatingly enough, with that said, then that means they've probably been here, right? So this is ancient astronaut theorists say yes, kind of in a a certain capacity. So do you think that's why it's cooked into us? Why we have that revulsion? Because it doesn't make sense. Like spiders make sense, snakes make sense, right? This type of stuff certainly makes sense, but 99.995% human, like you're describing, doesn't make sense why it creeps us out. It's strange. Unless, of course, we can sniff like a bloodhound or something and notice a sociopath or a psychopath. You know what I mean? Like maybe there are social cues or something like that we kind of are like, this person isn't exactly human. You know what I mean? Like that makes sense to me. And that's more sort of scientific in some way, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I do. And I know that feeling too. I know the feeling like of people who you're just not going to be compatible with. They, like when you're around them, you get nauseous and you can smell sulfur. Like the pheromones are just not going to be friends. Yeah, I know that feeling too, but I think that's something different than the other thing. I think those are two different things. And it could be the thing about the spiders, the snakes, the lizards, whatever, with some people just really have a bad feeling about that. It could be part of it because that could be spliced into their DNA. You know what I mean? So you could be that there could be just a real inherent extreme caution there. I remember I was doing a job taking care of a house, and one of my jobs was to take care of a couple of lizards. One was a Gila monster, and I don't remember what the other one was. A pretty common pet. And I always thought they were just really weird, cold, emotionless animals. But once I hung around with them, they were pretty cool. And there was a real bonding thing there. And they'd make eye contact with you, and they were like really awesome. So, but not like some people. Like there are lizards I would prefer to be with than some people.
I agree. I agree there. I've never had a lizard in my life. My nephew, shout out, he doesn't know about this show, so he's not listening, but he's got a lizard, and it is, kind of a sizable lizard, and it's weird. They're weird, right? They look at you and stuff, and I don't know.
Yeah, they're cool. No, they're nice. There's a little bit of telepathy going on there. There's a little bit of like stuff happening, and they're like preferable to me to some of the people I've known. So
yeah, I absolutely feel that. Luckily, I don't have many of those people in my life these days, which is bonus. By the way, if you have those people in your life, you can minimize them. Reminder, just a reminder.
Move to the desert.
Yeah, there you go. Move to the desert. Okay, so I don't know anything else on this. Now, the doppelganger. Do you think there is some sort of spirit effect of seeing yourself? So again, the doppelganger, as I was kind of reading a little bit, is that you see yourself before your untimely demise. You think there's something to that, or you think this is old wives' tales?
I don't know. That whole doppelganger thing is cool. I was going to post a link to a song I used to love listening to when I was a young guy. I think I'll post it in the after show chat later. I'll find it. But there are people who do think that we have like an astral self, and then there's people who think that we exist in all dimensions. And some version of us exists in every single dimension, and this is just one of them, And if assuming you and I are in the same dimensions, I don't want to be presumptuous.
Hey, Kelly can vouch for me. At least Kelly and I are in the same dimension. I met him in Vegas. At least Kelly and I are. So maybe so my suspicions are on you, sir.
Okay. but yeah, so I don't know. I don't know about the thing of seeing doppelgangers. I guess I would probably hope that would be the case. I wouldn't mind to know, like, okay, check my clothes, make sure my shirt's tucked in, make sure my shoes are tied and that my underwear's clean,
Because you don't want to spread that across the multiverse. That'd be bad news.
So I wouldn't mind. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad thing. I'll keep that in mind. If I see myself someplace, I'll be like, okay, is everything set? Like, am I driving the speed limit? Like, what's going on?
Exactly right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. Lots of things in play here, but the uncanny valley effect again. So if any of you take anything from this conversation, think of it this way: snakes, spiders, lizards make sense. Why does the 99.9% person give you the heebie-jeebies? Why does that make sense? You get it? It's weird. I don't know. It's weird. Almost as if we've encountered these things before, and that's my point. Got about a minute left. If you got anything, Dad? You're the best, brother. Appreciate you fixing all the audio stuff and popping back in.
Yeah, I think I got that figured out. Yeah, no, that's pretty much what I got. That was just, I just wanted to relay that I have had those experiences of seeing people that I know were just kind of off, like you described in the write-up. Like, I've had those experiences a couple times where it's like, yo,
something's up.
That's not right.
Exactly. And the write-up he's describing, troubledminds.org. Click the newsletter Substack right there. You'll find the write-up.
I tweeted that out on X and I tagged David Icke.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'm having a love-hate relationship with X right now because it didn't let me post the Rumble link yesterday. So I'm like, F you. I'm not going to do any of this. Like, if you're not going to let me like actually promote my own stuff that I've been doing for years, F you, X. That's how I feel right now. So thank you for doing that for me on my behalf. I appreciate that on our behalf.
Yeah, you bet.
You're the best.
Okay, well, good night, everybody. Thanks.
Have a great one. You know him, you love him. That's Herschel Sterling. And check out his stuff. Again, this is the link tree, right? troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It says follow Herschel. And if you have a link tree, again, again, if you want your actual stuff up here, just you make a link tree, right? And then you have all of your stuff and you control it. Like you control all those links, troubledminds.org/friends, follow Herschel, and you see all of it. Okay. So do that. And then you can add and remove stuff. You don't have to, we do it once and we're done. James, anything to add? What the hell is this? Okay. I'll take this call in a moment. James, anything to add? We'll wrap this up.
Just that, this is all very tricky because it could be alternate reality versions of ourselves that we see in some cases. I'm thinking back to that one story I told earlier tonight about someone who found out someone saw them, what they thought was them, in a town while they were away and had a complete discussion with them. So there could, as usual, this is all a lot more complex than I think, than we think it is sometimes.
As usual, which is the point. Kind of looking at these things from different angles and wondering what the hell's actually going on. And of course, with hyper reality encroaching, like I'm always talking about, I think we need to be on our best behavior with our cognitive security. So let's talk about these ideas. Let's consider what's happening and what's not, and wondering where all this finally comes together. Don't forget to follow James. You know him, you love him. SalsidoParanormal.com, SALSIDO Paranormal.com. And go buy his books. Go buy Herschel's books. Go. Just support the community. I appreciate it. Just spread the word. Let people know a conversation's happening. All the stuff we're not going to tell you to vote for. Look, I intentionally dodge politics because everything in the world out there is political. I'm not interested. I'm not. I do follow it. I do listen. I do have my own ideas. I don't care. There needs to be a space in this realm where we don't do politics. Welcome to Troubled Minds. That's it. As we finish, this one's for Carl coming up. We're going to finish with Stargate, the Midnight Stargate ritual. That's it. We're out of here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of this. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let people know about us, about the community, about the ideas, about the greatest thought experiment on the internet. Shout out Herschel. All right, I'm out of here. You guys have a fantastic night. Michael Strange out. We'll see you on Thursday night, God willing. And stay tuned for the Midnight Stargate ritual. We're late, but we're going to do it.
Jungle, machines hum, the digital rumble. Gates of cyber open wide, plug us into cosmic tide. Feeling sparks across the sky. As knowledge flies, we're amplified. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the in this massive data center dome, eternal truth stop to roam. Circuits flicker with endless fire, data streams that never tire. Unified by electric dreams, unlock the truth in silver beams. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the arcane fate. Synthesize what we seek and find. Infinite paths in the network mind. Answers buzz from star to core. Knowledge whispers evermore. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the arcane fate.
Break it down.
In realms where the data streams collide, imagination and logic side by side.